Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajeem. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. My dear brothers, I welcome all of you with the Islamic greeting. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's always a great honor, it's always a great privilege and a great pleasure to come to this platform and share some important information, some valuable information which is very important for us in this life and the life thereafter. We have to understand the motive, the objective, the goal for which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent us on this earth. And we have to lead our life in line with the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in line with the submission of the commandments that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent us. And until we don't understand those commandments, until we don't understand that code of life, until we don't understand that mission of the life, we will not be able to really lead the life that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decided for us, and that decree has been decided for us. So my dear brothers and sisters, what's very important is to understand this glorious Quran, the glorious book, the glorious message, the glorious revelation, the glorious chapters, the glorious verses, the glorious surahs, and the warnings and the do's and the don'ts and the protocols and the truth and the falsehood. Everything need to be understood, and that's clearly laid out by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we'll be tested, and we'll be on the day of resurrection, and all our deeds, all our do's and don'ts will be accounted, and that will be written down in a perfect book, and that we have to produce in the majesty, before the majesty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So for that we have to prepare ourselves. And how we're going to prepare ourselves? When we know the goal, when we know the mission, when we know the objective, when we know our destination, and when we know the path that leads towards that destination. And how that path will come clear to us? When we read that path, when we read the destination. And that's in the final messenger, and that's in the final message, in the final revelation. And my dear brothers and sisters, it's very important to dedicate the time, to dedicate ourselves to understand the real goal. This life of 50, 60, 70 years will live, but what's very important is to live in line with the guidelines of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with that goal, with that objective, with that decree, with that prophecy. So that is being taught us by the beloved Prophet, and it's very important that we do understand. So as you know that I already shared the 70 verses of Surah Nuh, and then there are totally 28 verses of Surah Nuh, and there's an incredible lesson. What an amazing lessons for us. What an amazing wisdom for us. What an amazing insights, wonderful insights for us to understand. So my dear brothers and sisters, we'll just go through from verse number 90 to verse number 28 and try to understand the rest of the message Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has delivered in this great chapter of this glorious revelation, so that we do understand, and then we after understanding, apply to ourselves, and we are able to submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are able to bow down to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are able to supplicate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are able to worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we are able to lead that life that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to lead. So let's move to verse 19, where Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam said, Wallahu ja'ala lakum al-ardha bisata litasluku minha subulan fijaja. These are two verses where Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam has explained the wonderful creation of the earth, and the way the earth has been broadened, the way the earth has been widened, and the way the roads have been laid down. Nuh alayhi salam said that look at this earth. He has initially given the example of the 7 wonderful heavens, and then he has given the example of your own body, the way you have been shaped, the way you have been polished, the way wonderful figure you have been given, the way the eyes, ears, nose, lips, the teeth, and everything that this creation, look at your creation, the 7 wonderful 7 stages you have been produced by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then you have been given a wonderful shape. So is this not a wonderful creation? Then he has been given the example of this great earth. Look how this earth has been laid down for you, and the roads have been brought down for you, so that you are able to move from one place to another place. You are able to move from east to the west and north to south. and you are able to carry your goods from one place to another place. You are able to transport the your trading activity, your commercial activities. They become ease mind. The ways of communication, the ways of transportation. My dear brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it very easy for you, so that you are able to make it a profitable activity and you are able to earn your livelihood. So look at the way this roads have been broadened and the way earth has been laid down as a carpet. Isn't this a wonderful creation? So then what's making you to turn away from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And then Nuh alayhi salam, he complains in verse number 21. He says, قال نوح ربي إنهم أسوني واتبعوا من لم يزده ماله وولد إلا خسارة. That Nuh alayhi salam said, my Lord, they have disobeyed me and followed the one whose wealth and children gave him no increase but the loss. But my qawm, my nation, my peoples, they disobeyed me. They turned away from my path, from this Islamic monotheism, from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they followed those people who were having the wealth, who were having the children. But that wealth and their children does not increase anything, then a loss, then the khasireen. They misled them from the true path, from the true monotheism, from the true guidelines, from the true revelation. And they became khasireen, they became polytheists, they became wrongdoers. They became, what you call as deviating from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they followed those peoples, my nation. وَمَكَرُوا وَمَكَرًا كُبَارًا. And they have plotted a mighty plot against me. So when I was calling them towards the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but they were calling them towards the path of adults, towards the path of, that is astray. And that was a plot they laid down, against my call. And then they deviated those people, that my nation, my mankind, from the true path. And this is the plot that they have laid. وَقَالُوا لَا تَزُرُنَّ إِلَهَتْكُمْ وَلَا تَزُرُنَّ وَدًّا وَلَا سُوَاءً وَلَا يَغُوثَ وَيَعُوقَ وَنَسْرًا. And they indeed have led many astray. O Allah, grant them no increase to Zalimin. And they have said, you shall not leave your gods, nor shall you leave Wad, nor Suwa, nor Yagut, nor Ya'uq, nor Nasr. Now these are the idols, and they were calling these people to worship these idols, and they were saying that how can you leave your gods? These are your gods. Wad is your god, Nasr is your god, and Ya'ud is your god, Suwa is your god. How can you leave your gods? Don't leave your gods. And this is the call they made, and this is the way they deviated this mankind, this nation of Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam from the true path, because they were having the influence, they were having the wealth, they were having the sons, and they were having that power. So they were able to deviate those peoples from the true path, and they were able to direct them towards these adults and trying to convince them to worship these adults who were actually nothing more than adults. وَقَدْ أَزَلُّوا كَثِيرًا وَلَا تَزِرُ الظَّالِمِينَ إِلَّا ضَلَالًا. And indeed they have led many astray, and O Allah, grant no increase to Zalimin, the polytheists, the wrongdoers and disbelievers, save error. So do not grant them any more provision. Just destroy them, because they are doing nothing than leading the people astray. Many have been led astray, and they are calling the people and saying that worship these idols. So do not grant any more provision. Do not give them any more increase. These polytheists, these Zalimins, these wrongdoers. Mimma katiyahim ugriku fa udkilu naran falam yajiddu lahum min dunillahi ansara. And because of these sins that kept on accumulating. Now they kept on accumulating sins, and they were drowned. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has poured the rain from the sky, and that rain becomes so wild that this whole universe and this all the people were drowned, except those who followed the path of Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam and his revelation and his monotheism, and the rest of the people got drowned and were made to enter the fire. And not only drowned in this world, but in that world they were made to enter the fire, and they found none to help them instead of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So who was there to help them? There was nobody who could have helped them but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But since they kept on accumulating, they stood up with this arrogant approach, with the arrogance, with the arrogant path, and that's the reason in this world they would lose us, and in that world also they would lose us. So my dear brothers and sisters, what's a great lesson for us? That we have a Quran, we have the revelation, we have the book, and we have a prophet who has taught us the way we have to lead our life, the way we have to conduct our matters, the way we have to, deal with our matters, irrespective of the fact in which field we are, whether we are scientists, we are teachers, we are politicians, we are doctors, we are businessmen. We have a clearly laid down guidelines, a clearly laid down syllabus is there. So that we need to understand, we need to follow up, we need to apply, and we need to comply ourselves. If we deviate from that very path, then we'll be the losers, like these people were having the money and they were having the children, they were having the influence, everything, in the society. But what ultimately happened? They were the losers in this world, and they were the losers, they were thrown in the fire. And on that day, whom they would call? Except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the great lesson is, my dear brothers and sisters, that we are in this life, we have a great opportunity. We have a great time, that let's turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's seek His mercy, let's seek His forgiveness. And let's turn back to the call of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And let's try and understand that what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us, the way He wants us to lead this life, the mission for which He has sent down this man on this earth. That I haven't sent down. What's my goal? I need to understand my goal, and then I need to introspect. I need to retrospect. I need to analyze. I need to evaluate. I need to really understand where am I, and which path I'm actually following. Am I able to respond to the call of the Muazzin 5 times? And am I able to really, attend that prayer, supplicate, and submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the concentration I should do? So how are my matters? How am I dealing with the matters, with all the activities that I do in a day, in a night? So that's very important, that we need to introspect ourselves, otherwise we'll be losers. So my dear brothers and sisters, in the next verse he said, إِنَّكَ إِنَّ تَذَرْهُمْ يُزِلُّ إِبَادَكَ وَلَا يَلِدُوا إِلَّا فَاجِرًا كَفَارًا. And if you leave them, they will mislead your slaves. Don't Islam again submits to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that if you're going to leave them, they are going to mislead your slaves, and they will beget none but the wicked disbelievers, because they were hell-bent to mislead your slaves. And if you're going to give them more chance, they're going to ultimately turn up more and more peoples. They're going to believe as the wicked peoples and the disbelievers. So they should not be given any more chance, and they should be perished. They should be, destroyed. They should no more live on this earth. They don't deserve to be more. They've been given ample opportunities, enough opportunities, and 900 years, more than 900 years, Nuh alayhi salam, he's been calling his people, he's calling this nation, and he has not a single opportunity, a single platform, every kind of source he has used, and then still, they were not convinced. They did not turn back to the call of Nuh alayhi salam, the revelation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the great faith of the Islamic monotheism, and that was their fault. And because of this, they were doomed. The rain became so wild, my dear brothers and sisters. The rain which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala normally sends to make, this land fertile and to really make it productive, for us, wherein we can sow the seeds and we'll get a lot of production, a lot of fruits, and a lot of vegetables, and a lot of matters. That same rain, when becomes, wild, it can perish everything, it can destroy everything. This is what happens. And in the last verse, Nuh alayhi salam, what he said, رب اغفر لي ولوالدي ولمن دخل بيتي مؤمنا وللمؤمنين والمؤمنات ولا تزر الظالمين إلا تبارا. My Lord, forgive me. Look at this supplication. My God, forgive me. After giving this dava, after calling the people, facing all the struggle, all the tough times, using days and using nights, going privately, going in public, calling every now and then to the peoples, and he's saying, forgive me. Look at the supplication, forgive me. A prophet calling to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, forgive me, and my parents, and him who enters my home as a believer, and those people who entered my home as believers, who accepted my faith, who accepted my God, who accepted this revelation, who accepted this monotheism, who believed my word, and the believing men and women, and all those men and all those women who believe in this revelation, who believe in this monotheism, who believe in this faith, who believe in this glorious message, and all those should be forgiven. And to the zalimin, the wrongdoers and the disbelievers, grant you no increase but destruction. Perish those who are going to cause disbelievers, who will beget disbelievers, who will mislead the people, who will code the people, who will show them a wrong path, a wrong monotheism, a wrong path, a wrong, a wrong way. So they should not be left anymore, and they should be destroyed. So my dear brothers and sisters, it's a wonderful lesson for us that today we have a life. We don't know how long we're going to live more. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set up a mission. He has set up a goal for us. And we have to realize that goal. We have to understand that goal. We have to know that where we are, where do we stand? Do we respond to that goal? Have we understood that goal? Do we understand why we have been sent down by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this earth? So until we not understand this glorious Quran, the verses and the chapters and the guidelines and the warnings and everything that's been sent down by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's been revealed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we may not be able to understand the goal. So my brothers and sisters, so we'll take the great lessons from this glorious Quran, then we'll propagate and not only we will submit ourselves, but we will inshallah lazim take this great message to others and try to make others understand the glorious revelation, the glorious message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inshallah, so see you soon back next week inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.